What's good, my fellow stock market trader and investor homies? It's your boy Kevin, and welcome back to Touchdown Trades. In today's video, we're going to be doing an in-depth analysis of Elon Musk's hostile takeover attempt of Twitter. We're going to be breaking it all down from every angle, talking about the possible outcomes, talking about what the hell is going on, talking about Twitter's poison pill strategy to try to fend off Elon, and we're going to be breaking down what I think is going to happen to Twitter stock in both possible outcomes. So you're going to want to stay tuned. This is a very interesting, crazy story, and it's happening, unfolding in real time. You can't make this stuff up. This is the real deal. So what Elon Musk is doing is unprecedented. It's not often one individual, one dude, has enough capital, has enough money on the books to attack a huge tech company like Twitter. But that's exactly what's unfolding. And it all started with a Twitter poll that Elon put on Twitter. He said, do you think Twitter is adhering to free speech principles? A bunch of his followers voted, and they voted overwhelmingly no. That they did not believe that Twitter was following free speech principles. And this has been a big debate, right? It's been a huge debate. People saying, oh, Twitter, social media in general, they are not following free speech. And then you'd have the guy on the other side, well, go start your own company, or just go buy Twitter and become a shareholder and offer your opinion at the shareholder meetings, or use your votes to influence Twitter that way. Well, now we are seeing Elon Musk do just that, but Twitter is trying to self-destruct in order to prevent Elon from buying the company. To better understand what is going on, you need to know what two terms mean. Term number one, hostile takeover. Term number two, poison pill. A hostile takeover. Typically, when you have one company acquire or purchase another company, they both agree. They come together, you have an offer placed, a bid placed. I go to company B and I say, hey, I want to buy your company at $1. And they say, no, we don't really want to sell it at $1, but we'll sell it for $2. And I go back and I say, I don't really want to buy it for $2. I'll buy it for $1.50. And then the other company says, okay, $1.50. You got the handshake, you sign the contracts, and the company is sold. That's a typical acquisition. However, a hostile takeover is usually done when shareholders are pissed off. When shareholders don't like the way a company is being ran, they'll go in and they'll try to take over the company. And what we have here with Elon Musk and Twitter is a prime example of a hostile takeover. Elon Musk did not like the way that Twitter was running the business. The Twitter board was doing things from a censorship standpoint that Elon Musk did not like. He thought he could run Twitter better, and he is trying to buy the company without the consent of the Twitter board. Now, that is referred to as a hostile takeover, folks. All right, so what the hell is a poison pill strategy? Poison pill strategy is basically to self-destruct. You take a cyanide pill and you kill yourself from the inside. So Twitter is trying to self-destruct so they can prevent Elon from buying up enough stock to become the majority shareholder. In Twitter's case, what they are going to do, if Elon Musk acquires more than 15% of Twitter stock, they are going to offer public stock offerings below the current market value of Twitter's share price. What does that mean? If you've been involved in the stock market for any length of time at all, you know a public stock offering is when a company raises capital, they issue out more shares. And what that does is it dilutes the stock. And if Elon gets 15% of Twitter and they dilute Twitter stock by offering more shares, that dilutes Elon's percentage of Twitter stock that he owns, lowering his influence on Twitter. So let's say there's 100 shares of Twitter available to be purchased. All right, 100 shares of Twitter on the open market. Elon Musk purchases 16 of those shares. That would give him a 16% stake in Twitter stock. So Twitter says, no. We don't want Elon Musk to own a 16%. That's too much. He has too much power. The board wants to retain their power. So what Twitter would do is they would sell more shares on the open market. Let's say they sell 100 more shares, diluting Twitter. And now instead of owning 16% of Twitter, he only owns 8% of Twitter. That is the poison pill strategy that Twitter is undertaking. They are going to dilute Twitter stock, and that only helps a few people. It only helps the board of directors to retain their power and retain their salary. These suits don't give a damn about the Twitter shareholders. They don't give a damn about their fiduciary duty to the shareholders. So if you're a Twitter shareholder, you better be pissed off, because this is one of the most outrageous and blatantly just scandalous cheating, not caring about your obligation to the shareholders. It is outrageous what the Twitter board is doing. So not only have they rejected an offer that is above the current market value of the stock's price, but they are saying they are going to crush Twitter shareholders if Elon keeps coming after Twitter stock. That is absolutely absurd, and it should be criminal. Why would the Twitter board of directors do this to their shareholders, to the people that they have a duty to protect and try to benefit in a financial way? Well, here's the exact reason that they are doing this. All right, this guy Gary Black on Twitter, he said, let me point out something obvious. If Elon Musk takes Twitter private, the Twitter board of members don't have jobs anymore, which pays them $250,000 to $300,000 per year for what is a nice part-time job. That could explain a lot. Yeah, I agree, Gary Black. They're trying to maintain their cushy seat on the Twitter board. All right, so this guy, whoever this person is, Mimi, can't pronounce the last name, is paid $35,000 a year in cash and a stock award of $225,000 for a total of like $260,000 a year, and they're all ranging from about $250,000 a year to $300,000 a year. So it's blatantly obvious that the Twitter board doesn't want Elon coming in because they don't want to lose their seat on the board. About 2 hours ago, Elon Musk came out and says that if he acquires Twitter, the board members will not get paid a penny. I absolutely love it. It's hilarious, right? And I agree with it. If you're sitting on one of these boards, why do you need to get paid a bunch of money? It should be because you have a stake in the company. None of these board members have a huge stake in the company. I think the biggest one is like 0.6 or 0.7%. So they don't actually own a big majority of the underlying company, and they're getting paid $300,000 a year to meet 3 or 4 times a year and discuss Twitter, but they're really probably just going to some fancy retreat, drinking high-end bourbon and smoking cigars, and they call it sitting on the Twitter board. But in all reality, it's just a retreat for these rich suits to drink high-end liquor and smoke expensive Cuban cigars. So Elon comes out and says, nope, no longer will the Twitter board get paid. All right, so he says board salary will be $0 if my bid succeed. So that's a $3 million a year savings right there. That's absolutely awesome. It should be you want to join the board because you own part of the company and you want the company to succeed, not because you want a cushy board seat where you're getting $300,000 a year from the shareholder's pocket. Twitter could be a great thing. I don't use Twitter because I think it is full of censorship and BS. It could be just this big town hall of ideas and conversation, and no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you have a place to go and express your opinion. Obviously, there's no room for racist or sexist or homophobic bullshit. I'm not saying there's a place for that, but there should be a safe place where you can go express your ideas and have a conversation, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. All right, and I think Elon agrees with that. He just did a TED Talk. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go watch it. And he expressed his view on what Twitter should be, and I wholeheartedly agree with his idea of what a good Twitter looks like. It doesn't look like what it is today. What it is today is an arm of the big entrenched media, and that media outlet is dying, and just let it die. If they want to just try to control these big social media conglomerates, they just got to go away and wither away and die. Let Elon come in. Free speech rules. Let free speech take over. We know free speech it's very important, and it's kind of lost its way. We have allowed these big social media companies to come in and do whatever they want and say that they are privately held companies so they can make their own rules, but the truth is they're not privately held. This is a publicly traded company, and the shareholders need to put their foot down and say enough is enough and this is over, and sell your freaking shares to Elon. All right, time to put the tinfoil hat on for just a second. This Saudi prince is the biggest Twitter shareholder as of right now. Saudi Prince Al-Waleed bin Talal rejects Elon Musk's Twitter takeover bid. All right, so how did this Saudi prince make his money? He made it via oil, right? These Saudi billionaires made their money via oil. How did Elon Musk make his money? By cutting off the oil, right? Electric vehicles. So I think it's kind of funny that you have the EV mogul going head to head against the oil mogul in this Twitter takeover attempt. They're coming together. You have the oil guy saying, hell no, you kind of screwed me over. You're trying to screw me over with these EV vehicles. And you have Elon saying, screw you, oil guy. I'm coming in. I'm taking Twitter too, bitch. And I think it's an interesting fight that we have going on here. All right, so let's look at Twitter, the stock, and I'll talk about where I think Twitter goes from here. Get your free money. Get your free money. A lot of you guys haven't claimed your 5 free stocks from my broker Moomoo. Link in the description. If you deposit $100 or more, you get a guaranteed free share of NEO, and those 5 free stocks could be valued up to $17,000 of free money. All right, so right now, Twitter is trading at $47.33 per share. Before Elon's takeover attempt, we were trading down here at about a little bit less than $40 a share. Elon's attempt comes, and boom, we rocket ship all the way up to 50, let's call it 55. So we're trading in this range, 55 to 40. And what happens if the bid is rejected? Well, there's a few possible outcomes. Remember the poison pill strategy. If Twitter starts to dilute the stock, they start to offer public shares at a discounted price, and that's the whole outlook here. If they do implement this strategy, they're going to offer these shares at a discounted price for an incentive for them to be purchased, and Twitter stock will crash. There's no way around it. If that happens, Twitter stock rolls over, and I think we break this $30 level. So the potential upside is outweighed by the risk at this point in time, but that's just my opinion. Remember, I'm way too stupid to be a financial advisor. Remember, Elon's bid was at $54.20, I believe it was $54.20 per share. So up here, we only have $7-8 in upside. If you're a Twitter shareholder and Elon's bid is successful, you're going to get paid out at $54.20 per share. However, I do think it is more likely than not that Elon's bid is unsuccessful because of the dirty scoundrel Twitter board members. The dirties, they stank. All right, so I think it's probable that Elon's bid is unsuccessful, and we do get a rollover. Now, we were trading down here at 40 before the bid was put in. So I believe, boom, even if they don't implement the poison pill strategy, we sell off below $40 a share. If the poison pill strategy is implemented, I believe we go under $30 per share, and it gets ugly, and it happens fast. This is one of the most interesting stories that I've ever witnessed in the stock market, and I'm going to continue following it. If you got anything of value from this video, you think this story is interesting, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Do you think Elon will be successful in his attempt to take over Twitter, or do you think the dirty board members will retain their power and their $300,000 a year cushy board seat? Let me know in the comments. I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until next time, deuces.